On September 6, 2025, Yunnan province in southwestern China endured a devastating disaster. Days of heavy rainfall triggered severe flooding and caused a major dam in the region to suddenly burst. The collapse released an enormous surge of water that swept through valleys, towns, and farmland, bringing destruction to communities already weakened by floods and waterlogged soils in previous days. This event is regarded as one of the most catastrophic disasters in the province's recent history. For days before the incident, water levels in the reservoir had risen steadily, far exceeding safe limits. Although controlled discharges were carried out, relentless rainfall placed unbearable pressure on the dam. By dawn on the 6th, the wall could no longer hold. Residents downstream recalled hearing a thunderous explosion, followed by torrents of muddy water crashing down, carrying soil, rocks, and debris. Within minutes, entire neighborhoods were submerged, vehicles overturned, homes were destroyed, and fertile farmlands disappeared beneath murky waters. Although evacuation warnings had been issued, the speed of the collapse left thousands unable to escape in time. Rescue teams rushed in with motorboats, rafts, and helicopters to save those trapped. But the fierce currents and floating debris made operations extremely dangerous. Meanwhile, emergency shelters quickly filled to capacity. Thousands of families who had lost their homes crowded into schools, community centers, or temporary tents. For many, the most urgent concern was simply survival, having shelter, clean water, and food to endure the days ahead. The humanitarian toll has been immense. Thousands of homes were swept away or severely damaged. Power lines collapsed, plunging communities into darkness. Hospitals became overcrowded as waves of injured people arrived, while some medical facilities themselves suffered flood damage. Floodwaters mixed with sewage and industrial chemicals, creating severe contamination and raising the threat of disease outbreaks. To prevent a public health crisis, relief organizations distributed water purification tablets, emergency medicines, and essential medical supplies. Yet agricultural losses remained staggering. Rice paddies, cornfields, and vegetable farms were completely destroyed. Livestock perished in large numbers. Seed reserves for the coming planting season were washed away, raising fears of long-term food shortages. Infrastructure across the province was nearly paralyzed. Bridges collapsed, major highways were washed out, and saturated slopes triggered landslides that blocked mountain roads. Railway services were suspended, leaving areas isolated. Engineers were dispatched urgently to inspect remaining dams and reservoirs amid fears of further collapses as heavy rain continued. Authorities mobilized all available resources. Military units were deployed to assist in evacuations, deliver supplies, and reinforce embankments. Hydrological experts monitored river systems and issued early warnings for downstream areas. Humanitarian groups worked with local governments to provide shelter, medicine, and even psychological support. Environmental scientists warned that contaminated soil and water could bring long-lasting effects to agriculture and public health. This disaster stands as a stark reminder of weaknesses in dam management and the growing dangers posed by climate change, which is making extreme weather more frequent and severe. Although Yunnan has flood control infrastructure, this event revealed its limitations. Experts emphasize the urgent need for stricter dam safety standards, expanded real-time monitoring, and community preparedness training.
看地上这个多厚。
Amid the tragedy, the courage and solidarity of Yunnan's people shine through. Many risked their own lives to save neighbors. Volunteers paddled boats to deliver food to flood-hit areas. Doctors and nurses worked tirelessly through the night under dire conditions. Together, they wrote a story of resilience and humanity. The road to recovery will take years. Homes must be rebuilt, transportation restored, farmland rehabilitated, and polluted water sources cleaned. Authorities now face not only the challenge of repairing what was lost, but also of building stronger defenses to protect future generations. For tens of thousands of families, the journey ahead remains daunting, but the shared determination to rise again will be a source of strength. The tragedy of September 6, 2025 will remain a painful memory, but it also serves as a profound reminder of the importance of preparedness, adaptation, and unity in the face of natural disasters. Thank you for following this report, and please stay informed, stay safe, and continue to share solidarity. We will bring you the latest updates in our upcoming reports.
Nature doesn't send us warnings, but we can. Floods, earthquakes, wildfires, and storms are striking harder and faster than ever before. By subscribing, you are not just watching, you are joining a movement to stay alert, stay informed, and helps others to do the same. Hit the subscribe now because the next disaster won't wait, and neither should you. Be ready and be aware.
Whoa! 家人们，渡劫了，家人们，渡劫了。
At midday on August 25th, Shanghai, one of China's busiest economic hubs, was suddenly thrown into chaos when an extreme weather event struck. What began as an overcast and stifling afternoon quickly turned into a violent storm, combining the most destructive elements of convective weather. Meteorologists had already warned of the potential for intense localized rainfall, with precipitation exceeding 35 millimeters in just 1 hour, accompanied by hail and wind gusts stronger than force 10. But when the storm finally descended, its destructive power far surpassed expectations, making the entire city feel as though it had been hit by a tropical cyclone without warning. right in the heart of the mainland.
还好我没出门，我的天哪！
The most intense moment came when a powerful downdraft swept across the city center. Dense, cold air plunged from towering thunderclouds, striking the ground and spreading outward, unleashing winds so violent they rivaled, and in some cases even exceeded, the strength of coastal typhoons. In the Jingkao area of Pudong, wind speeds reached astonishing levels. Some weather stations recorded gusts beyond force 13 on the Beaufort scale, powerful enough to topple large trees, tear down billboards, and damage buildings across the district. Residents described the experience as if a tropical storm had made direct landfall in the middle of a modern metropolis.
That instantly turned inside out under the strength of the gust.
Accompanying the violent winds was a barrage of hail. Ice stones measuring 1 to 2 centimeters in diameter hammered rooftops and vehicles, denting metal surfaces and shattering fragile materials. Torrential rain poured down in sheets so thick that visibility dropped to nearly zero. Cars were forced to halt in the middle of the road as drivers struggled to see through windshields battered by hail. On the streets, hailstones ricocheted off the pavement, scattering like marbles across the concrete. Pedestrians caught outside scrambled for cover, their umbrellas instantly blown inside out by the force of the gusts. Within minutes, videos captured by residents flooded social media, vividly illustrating the storm's ferocity. Trees bent violently, branches snapped, and entire streets vanished under rushing torrents of rainwater. Many online commenters remarked that the scene resembled the landfall of a tropical cyclone more than a passing thunderstorm. Shanghai was not the only area affected. Neighboring provinces such as Jiangsu and Zhejiang also reported severe thunderstorms, heavy downpours, and hail. Even inland Hubei, far from the coast, experienced similar extreme weather, highlighting how widespread the atmospheric instability had become across eastern and central China.
The experience was both frightening and disruptive, underscoring how quickly normal life can be interrupted by the atmosphere's volatility.
For many cities, life came to a standstill. Transportation ground to a halt. Large trees were ripped from the ground, and power lines collapsed under the sudden onslaught of wind, plunging neighborhoods into blackout. Residents described the experience as both terrifying and shocking, a reminder that everyday life can be completely disrupted by just a few minutes of atmospheric upheaval. Although the worst of the storm over Shanghai lasted only a short time, the damage was undeniable. Streets were littered with broken branches, intersections flooded with fast-moving rainwater, and countless vehicles left dented and scratched by hail. Cleanup crews quickly mobilized, but many residents remained shaken by the intensity of the storm. This event once again underscored the vulnerability of modern cities to the unpredictable forces of nature. Even in a vast metropolis like Shanghai, filled with skyscrapers and fueled by the fast pace of daily life, nature proved it can bring everything to a standstill in the blink of an eye.
Nature doesn't send us warnings, but we can. Floods, earthquakes, wildfires, and storms are striking harder and faster than ever before. By subscribing, you are not just watching, you are joining a movement to stay alert, stay informed, and helps others to do the same. Hit the subscribe now because the next disaster won't wait, and neither should you. Be ready and be aware.